listening to Reality Wrap. I'm your host, Melanie. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into Reality Wrap. Tonight we will be recapping last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 13, Episode 7. I have Sean with me here today.
How are we all doing tonight, folks? What?
Folks. What are you, 80? Anyway, so I liked last night's episode. I love Denise Richards.
Oh, you mean Wild Thing?
Yes, Wild Thing.
Yeah, I love her too. She's funny. She is absolute gold.
That movie was from 1998.
Wow, that was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
Yeah. Did you see that movie?
I did, but I don't remember what it was
about.
about.
I saw it. It was with Matt Dillon too, wasn't there something like that?
I don't
Kevin
know.
Dillon.
Let's look it
One
up.
of the Dillon brothers.
Nev Campbell, Matt Dillon, Denise Richards, Kevin Bacon, Bill Murray, and Teresa Russell. Maybe I never did. No, I saw it. Yeah, because it was where they're coming out of the water. Oh yeah, I totally saw this movie, but I really can't remember what it was about.
I'm basically a walking IMDb.
Anyway, so last night's episode starts out and we're still at Kyle's weed dinner. Kyle's explaining that she is exercising and not drinking because she cannot afford to be depressed. Sutton apologizes to Kyle over her behavior at her house when she kept saying, name 'em, name 'em. And then she apologizes on Kyle's behalf for the way Kyle was acting as well. And Kyle's like, okay, well, thank you for apologizing on my behalf. And she was like, you're welcome. Finally, the conversation ends and they are served another dish. Garcelle tells Anne-Marie that she wants to know more about her. She lists off her weight, which was what, 160?
She is 5'9" tall. She's 160 pounds.
And she has 4 kids.
And she has 4 kids.
Garcelle,
she's pretty cool, actually. So far, she seems cool.
So far, yeah. Someone did tell me on Instagram that I think she is gone after this season. She's already been demoted. Or something like that. I think. I'm pretty sure that's what they said.
I don't know if they gave her a fair shake. I mean, it's episode 7 and we just first time see her placard.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was someone I was talking to on Instagram. Garcelle talks about her ex-husband a little bit and how life continues after divorce. Cynthia chimes in and says she likes to see relationships that there is a true partnership. And then Erika chimes in that she wants just one good love affair where you never want to be apart and she doesn't care if you're rich or poor. And I was like, wait a minute, Erika.
No one's believing me.
I think someone even said, really? I think it was Dorit. And she's like, you know, I had an arrangement when I was married with Tom. He had a very established life and I was essentially inserted into his existing life, but now I want to carve one out of my own. And I'm kind of like, okay, I mean, I get it. You're like, I don't want to be the trophy wife anymore. But when you say you were inserted into his life, like you more than willingly were inserted into that position. You were a rich, honey. You were bored of shopping. That's how rich you were.
No, she
did. At one point, she
agree,
says, I'm sick of shopping.
No, I agree. I was like, you were not. She wasn't fit or slotted or pulled
No.
or recruited or any of that.
No.
She sought out rich men.
Yes.
Seems like she landed one.
Yes, she did.
And then
he was a scam artist.
My guess is if this Vegas thing doesn't work out, I might try to grab another one. I think she's learned a lot of lessons. I think she'll grab a way better one.
Do you honestly believe that if Erika Girardi or Erika Jane, what does she go by now? Does she still go Erika Girardi? Found a man who was like, say, I don't know, a construction worker or a waiter or a garbage man. Do you think she would find that person to be the love of her life and it wouldn't matter how much money they made?
Well, if he's not rich, then he either better be really hot or hung from here to the Keno tables.
That is true.
You got to have something else, right? She's looking for something. Maybe she can connect someone emotionally on that, but my guess is there needs to be that plus something else.
I mean, she could connect emotionally with someone. I'm 100%. Not saying that she couldn't, but what I'm saying is would she be willing to say, this is the love of my life and I'm going to spend... So you think she would?
In this situation.
Somebody who doesn't make a lot of money.
That person, if he was hot, and then they had like that best friend emotional connection.
Yeah. And a big dick.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. Life's a lot simpler. And I think she's starting to realize that
I hope so.
When she surrounds herself with all that stuff, life isn't very complex. And I think if she's really looking for love, then yeah, that she would absolutely 100%. Yeah. I'm standing by you, E.
Dorit asks Denise how it feels to be in a group again and did you miss everybody? And she says, I did. And then they joke, everyone? And Denise is like, well, Erika, I have a question for you. And Erika's like, okay. She's like, why did you treat me a certain way? When we first met, we got along. You were so sweet and lovely. And then a year later, it was different. And Erika's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No one did.
No. And she's like, you're not being very clear. And Denise just keeps rambling and going on and on.
Wild Thing, you are a national treasure. I absolutely love you. Keep on keeping on, girl.
I know. But she never really tells Erika what she did. And then she starts saying, just watch the show. Just watch the show.
You know what you did.
You know what you did.
That gravelly voice.
Yeah. Well, she did apologize and say that she was getting over a cold.
Or she smoked 100 cigarettes on the way over there. That's what it's. I mean, yeah. I mean, I like that. Like, oh, man. The poor thing. If she was sick, though, that sucks.
Erika then just apologizes. She's like, okay, well, I really am sorry for whatever it was that I did, even though she had no idea what it was that she did. And then I laughed so hard. At one point, we see the chef, and he's like peeking out the door. And you hear say, Denise Richards is so fucked up. I was like, oh my God, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So that whole moment passes, and Sutton then decides it's a good time for her to light up a joint. And Erika's like, wait, you're gonna light that up right at the table? And she's like, well, Kyle said I could. And Crystal makes an excellent point in her talking head. She's like, wait a minute. So in Vegas, Sutton made a big deal about a couple of half-naked men, but lighting up a joint at the dinner table is no big deal. And I was like, Crystal is so correct, because what is the American Ballet, is it Association? What is it called? ABA? Is that what it's called? American Ballet Association that she belongs to. I mean, here she is on TV lighting up a joint. I mean, granted, it's totally legal, but she was like, lighting it up like it was no big deal.
Well, because the first example had nothing to do with our fine men and women at the ABA. It had everything to do with her ego.
Yeah, exactly. That's all.
Because she dressed like a librarian, and no one wants to see male strippers fondle a librarian.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say a librarian. She looked like a grandma. She was matronly in that outfit.
I'm apparently nicer.
So the dinner wraps up, and Denise asks Kyle if she can have a word with her. So they get up, and they're like walking down the hallway, and Kyle's like, Sutton, come with me. And so she gets up and goes, and Denise says, whoa, this too? And she makes a gesture into the other room. And Kyle and Sutton are like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. And so then they all go stand by Garcelle in the other room, and she's like going on to Garcelle about how Erika doesn't understand. And Garcelle's like, well, I don't think Erika understood what you were talking about. And Denise is like, oh, she knows what I was talking about. She's a dumb, and then it beeped out, and I couldn't tell what she was calling her. Was she calling her a dumb fuck, a dumb bitch, a dumb cunt? What was she calling her? I was trying to watch her mouth to see what it was they were beeping out, and I couldn't figure it out. I don't think it was dumb bitch, because I feel like they might have allowed that to go through. But anyway, she was mad. That is for sure.
Yeah, very mad.
Sutton's like, we don't know what you're talking about. And then she's like, well, she does. Dorit then walks over and tells Denise that her jacket's on upside down.
Is this on backwards? No. You sure? Backwards? Upside down? No. Is yours upside down? Mine? Don't do this. Don't do this. I know what you're doing. Stop it. Don't do this. I swear, I think your jacket is upside down. Stop it. I know what you're doing. I'm not your jacket. I don't give a flying ass about a jacket. Okay? Just take it down. Stop it. Don't do this. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing?
That was amazing.
That might have been some of the best television I've seen in 2023. Absolutely
Don't
incredible.
You do this.
Don't you
do what?
This.
Tell you your jacket's on upside down.
Bravo. Right there. The franchise. She is. Gets a Wild Thing on the TV.
What is she on? She didn't take any of the THC. Remember, she said, I don't do that stuff.
No, that's for babies, apparently.
And I was like, is she just drinking?
No.
She's got to be mixing. She's kind of got
I've been blackout drunk before, and I've never seen her do what
that's
she's
what I'm
doing.
like. Is she's got a little bit of Meredith Marks in her.
She's
The
got
slurry.
something.
I think she took some sort of a downer, and then she drank with it.
I think we can agree she took something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
For
a lot,
sure.
and probably a lot of it.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So funny.
Oh,
Denise is an icon.
I love her.
Dorit is then talking to Kyle, telling her how when Kyle wasn't at the table, Sutton said that Kyle was in denial. Hey, that kind of rhymed. Kyle in denial.
Kyle. Denial.
In denial.
Yeah.
Kyle
Children's
turns
book.
around and asks Sutton, what am I in denial about? And Sutton's like, I don't know. And Kyle's like, well, you said I was. And Sutton says, well, if you don't have anything to tell us, then I'll just let it go. Kyle gets pissed and she's like, quit gaslighting me. And Sutton tells us in her talking head that Kyle is unhappy in her marriage right now. And Kyle does not like to talk about personal things, which I'm like, well,
Why don't you respect that?
Okay, yes, I understand. Yeah, why would she want to share that? But here's the thing. How many years has Kyle been on the TV and she has done this very same thing to other people when they didn't want to talk about the personal shit going on in their lives? She would be like, just be honest. Tell us what's going on or whatever it is.
And I think what we're seeing is the producers were telling her to do it then, and now the producers are telling
Sutton to do it now.
To do it now.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, that's the producer's job. Is to, when the ladies aren't stirring up shit, the producers.
We then see Kyle walk off into the kitchen, pissed off, and she goes and she's talking to Erika and Anne Marie, and Sutton comes in.
Will you just listen to me for 2 seconds? I trust what you just told me. There's nothing going on. There's nothing to be worried about.
I didn't say there's nothing going on. I told you the retreat, things haven't been amazing, which makes it even worse that you would do that. It's weird.
We've had, gone through bad times, of course, like everybody, but it was a very rough year, past year.
Okay.
If I was really going through a hard time with that, this would certainly not be the way I'd approach my friend.
Agreed. Do you think there's something going on with her?
I told her. I said I didn't know if this was your first drink or your fifth, or it was your medicine for your foot.
I take
didn't know.
gabapentin at night when I go to bed. You're going to tell everybody I don't eat?
Well, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I've seen you push around a plate and say that you have some disorder where you choke and can't eat your food.
See, now you're going to make fun of really something that is wrong with me.
My esophagus disorder is not something to be made fun of. I can't eat certain foods. I've been down for 4 days, not able to swallow my own saliva. And here's my friend making fun of me. What's going on in your life, Kyle? You're not drinking. Why? Was it a problem? Did you drink too much? I don't call you out on that shit. Why are you calling me out?
I'm sick of fighting with you. I
Me
really
too.
am. I really am.
Okay,
You've
guys,
already
everybody
lost
knows
2
what I'm
sisters.
saying
Do you want
here?
to lose a third?
Now, that was pretty low of Sutton to say, you've already lost 2 sisters. Do you want to lose a third? But I have to say, it was also pretty shitty of Kyle to say that she wasn't sure how many drinks Sutton was on and how she doesn't eat.
Can't swallow.
Yeah, both of them were pretty shitty here.
Right. It was not at all appropriate. And so I was trying to figure out what Sutton might have because she didn't say it. But based on a quick search, it looks like it could be Barrett's esophagus, which is a condition in which the pink lining of the swallowing tube that connects the mouth to the stomach, right, it becomes damaged by something like either acid reflux or something like that. And then this causes the lining to thicken and become red, and that would then, because
Make
of
it
the
hard for you to
swelling,
swallow.
make it hard to swallow. And so I don't know if that's what she had. She didn't say it, but
What's it caused from?
the acid reflux. So they don't really know.
I guess that's, yeah, it could be
anything
caused
that could
from
cause
anything.
acid reflux. But vomiting, I think, isn't that like if you vomit a lot?
Or a little bit of too much of the drinky.
I think that's a lot of vomiting. I don't know. I didn't really spend more than like 10 minutes looking at it.
Kyle then brings up how Sutton had her own issues with Kathy, and Sutton's like, I did. And so she starts to explain how Kathy was upset with her for not sticking up for her in the press. And then after Kathy called her and yelled at her on the phone, she told Kyle, I really understand what you've gone through with Kathy. And Kyle's like, yeah, but you were still quiet at the reunion. And then she walks off and she says that she wants everybody to leave. And everybody's just kind of standing there awkward. And Sutton says, well, I think we can all go now. And then so they all go to leave. We now see Kyle jogging over to Anne Marie's house to play pickleball, a pickleball game again. We had it in Potomac 2 weeks ago, and now we've got it here. And so they finish playing pickleball, and they're sitting down and talking. Kyle gives her the rundown of the group since the weed dinner was the first time Anne Marie had ever been with everybody, and she tells her that she doesn't know why Sutton is coming for her marriage. We then meet up with Crystal, Garcelle, Sutton, and Denise for lunch. Denise is as fresh as a daisy at this lunch and not at all like what we saw at the weed dinner. Garcelle tells Sutton that she saw a commercial the other day about neuropathy, and she was like, you know, I really had no idea how bad it could get. They said it could lead to amputation. And I was like, wow, Garcelle, just what anyone with that condition wants to be told. Did you know it got bad enough that sometimes they have to amputate?
It's fine, because very quickly Garcelle recovered when she was talking about Kyle sweeping the floor with her coochie.
Oh, yes. Well, we haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, so...
I love you, Garcelle.
Sutton says that her nerves are feeling better. Denise brings up how Kyle was judging Sutton's drinking, and Sutton says, exactly. Splits in ponytail, swirling to the ceiling, and then Garcelle throws in, and wiping the dance floor with her coochie.
Sweeping, yeah. Oh, it was amazing.
Sweeping, yeah. Crystal tells us that she doesn't think it was very nice of Sutton to say what she said about her sisters. And Sutton does agree, yeah, it was a low blow. Back at Anne Marie's house, Kyle tells her that Sutton's comment about her sister was the nail in the coffin for her, because Sutton said it clearly to hurt her, which I agree. What she said was super low, but I also feel like Sutton was just kind of firing back at Kyle for making all the comments about her drinking and her being like, I don't know if you were on your medication or you were 5 drinks in and, you know, you don't eat. I mean, she was really kind of like coming for Sutton. So, of course, Sutton was going to say something. Granted, Sutton went a little too low, but...
I don't know. I mean, you're in a fight. I mean, it's like we're going to all of a sudden have rules in a fight. I mean, they're not punching each other. Just
no,
words.
But like not having a relationship with your sister, that's pretty damaging. But anyway, Kyle then talks about Sutton's small esophagus, and Anne Marie says, you know, I'll have to talk to her about it since that is my area of specialty. And we find out that she is an anesthesia nurse or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that what she said? Is she a nurse or an anesthesiologist? Anesthesiologist.
Nurse, though.
Nurse.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so she's very familiar with, you know, that portion of the body, because that's where they intubate you and stuff like that. Back at the lunch, the girls ask Denise why she was coming for Erika, and we find out that Denise is still upset from when Erika talked about a threesome a couple of seasons ago while Denise's kids were at a nearby table, which I'm like, come on, Denise. I mean, considering that you have an OnlyFans page and now your oldest daughter has an OnlyFans page and was just splashing all over social media how she was so excited that she just got fake boobies, I'm like, what Erika said really wasn't that big of a thing.
You see, we call you Wild Thing for a reason. And when you criticize others of being wild and they're not even nearly as wild as like your daily routine, it's ringing a little hollow there, Wild Thing. It's ringing a little hollow.
I mean, for fuck's sake, she was married to Charlie Sheen and now she's married to Aaron, who thinks like the pharmaceutical companies and the government are following him. So I'm kind of like, anyway.
That's crazy.
I think Denise got stuck in a loop while she was fucked up and she couldn't get herself out of it.
Does he really think pharmaceutical companies are following him?
Something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. I like the way you said that so quietly, like you didn't want him to overhear it.
Well, just in case.
Does he really think the pharmaceutical companies are after him?
It's always good to err on the side of caution.
We're now over at Dorit's, and her and PK are talking about Kyle and Mauricio having issues. PK says that it's not surprising considering that Mo is traveling all the time and that the same thing caused problems between him and Dorit. Then they talk about homeschooling their kids. PK wants the kids to go back to school because he wants them to mix with other children. She wants to keep them home until they're 14. And then in her talking head, she tells us that PK doesn't understand how she saw her kid's life flash before her eyes during the home invasion.
And that's how you know she's wrong.
Why?
Because this isn't about her experience and her comfort and how she feels. This is about raising your kids in a world. And so if you're going to keep your kids home because of one experience, and that's what you're going to keep them home until they're 14, they can't go back out. And that's even if she allows that at 14. Do you really think for a minute that if PK does the 14 thing, that at 14 she's not going to go, why would we even let him go at this point? I mean, that's exactly what would happen. Now, I think she's coming from not the right place there. She needs to recover from whatever happened to her.
They held a gun to her head.
Yeah, and that was terrible. But you got to put on, as what's her name used to say, your big girl pants. And, as Caroline Manzo used to say, got to put on your big girl pants. I think this is that moment for Dorit.
I think also PK kind of made that point to her. He's like, I've heard you over telling Jagger that like when he moves away to college that you're going to move on to campus with him. It's not just going to be, to your point, till you're 14.
That's not healthy. To say to your kids, having been a kid that had friends with moms like that, those relationships...
Overbearing.
Yeah, they don't end well,
yeah.
Generally.
Anyways, we then see Erika and Mikey meet up, and they're talking about all the Christmas shows that they had done over the years. She tells him that she is possibly getting a Vegas residency, which we all know by now she got, and we know there's going to be a spinoff show, and this is clearly them setting up that.
I'll go see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an interest.
If I was in Vegas and I got one of those cheap tickets as I was
the
walking
$7
by,
tickets,
and I had nothing else to see, and I said, "Can I take pictures?" And they said, "Fine."
Kyle and Dorit meet up for a hike. They talk about Sutton saying Kyle is trying to hide something about her marriage and how it was a low blow. Kim joins them, and she tells them that during lockdown, she started coloring on her walls. She was one of those people who never left her house during COVID, and I guess coloring on her walls helped her. And actually, the photos that they showed were pretty good, but I'm going to be honest, I think it's rather odd that she's like coloring all over the walls of her house instead of like on a normal medium. But artists are eccentric.
So there's the one gentleman with the doodle house, right? You ever seen that?
No.
Oh my gosh, this guy bought this all white house, every room, and then he doodled it. You should watch.
Is it his house?
Yeah,
because she rents.
Oh.
I mean, I'm assuming she still rents because in all the time she'd been on Beverly
so
Hills, we saw her
walls.
Moving from house to house to house to
You
house.
can paint your walls.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess on that one, if that was an expression and it seems like it's a positive outlet for her, fine. But then when she was offering to paint other people's walls, I'll paint your walls. I was like, I don't think anyone's gonna take
But some of the murals were really good.
I have to admit, they were.
And if they were just her coloring on the walls with crayon or whatever the hell she was coloring with.
Yeah, if it looked like a bunch of children drawing.
No, it looked good. They showed the photos.
It looked like she put in effort and time. And...
So imagine if she used like a correct medium and paint and...
Yeah, see, I wouldn't do that. If that's the medium she wants to use and that's where she finds her happiness, go for it.
Yeah. So then Kim talks about seeing Paris's baby and how Kyle hasn't seen the baby yet because Kathy and Kyle aren't getting along, and Kathy and her kids are a package deal, and if Kathy isn't talking to Kyle, then the kids don't talk to her either, which is super shitty.
I'm really sorry about that, but here's this. I do not know Kathy Hilton, but she seems crazy. And
she is crazy.
Here's the thing. Like, as I watch Kathy now off and on in this years, she seems like she wants us to see her as this image. And it's like no one's buying that. Right? Whatever you're selling us as to what you think you want us to be, whatever perception you're trying to manage, no one's picking that up. She seems like a very petty, shallow person.
Oh, for sure. Not only that, Paris has come out and said like her mom stuck her in that boarding school or whatever it was, and she was subjected to abuse. And not only that, I don't watch Paris in Love, but I've been reading all over that she didn't tell her mom about her baby being born until a week after it was born. Her mom didn't even know the baby was coming.
Again, I don't know Kathy Hilton, but she does.
You don't?
No.
You don't run in her circle?
I don't even walk outside her perimeter. But what I would say is that she seems to have a problem with empathy, and she doesn't give a shit, right? If that's how you want to go, go. But people like that do things like, well, if I don't like you, I'm going to go to my family, and they're not going to like you.
Yeah, that's weird to me. But yeah, like, does she hold them hostage?
We're just going to do feuds now. We're going to have feuds.
She like, you're not allowed to talk to your Aunt Kyle anymore.
It's manipulative, and it's controlling. And,
it is super.
And if you think about it, that's something that kind of makes sense then, that why Paris wouldn't tell her mom about the baby, because she does things like, I'm fighting with your aunt, you can't talk to any of them now. Okay, Mom.
So Kim tells her that both her and Kathy could have handled it differently, But at the time, she knows it's hard for you to see that in the moment, and that, she hopes that they can work it out. And that's how the episode ends. Next week, it looks like Sutton is having some sort of an event at her store because she's been there for 4 years. Anne-Marie looks like she's questioning her about her esophagus issue, and Sutton is like, I didn't know I was at a doctor's appointment, which I'm like, it is kind of rude to question somebody's medical history on camera. That kind of goes against
this thing called HIPAA.
Yeah, well, it's not like Anne-Marie's her doctor, but yeah. So anyways, that's all we have for you today. I hope you guys all have a really great weekend, and we'll be back next week. Talk to you then. Bye.
Bye, everyone.